Jimmy fucking Chalmers.
Language.
That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Welcome to the Nerdcast with your hosts, Dark Samus 288 and Snakeskin 94. On this episode of the Nerdcast, we take a look at Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
This movie is awesome.
Yes. No, seriously, this movie, I always thought Phantom Menace was underrated, but that's different because Phantom Menace is underrated like how a cult classic's underrated, where it's like only that certain group of people get it, although you don't see any hipsters representing Phantom Menace. Revenge of the Sith is different. This is a legitimately good movie with only a few bad moments and some actually pretty good ones. The acting's still a little hammy and hokey, but the action makes up for it, and there's some legitimately good acting bits from Hayden Christensen. I'm just going to say this. Ewan McGregor carries, well, I was going to say this movie, but Ewan McGregor carries the prequel trilogy.
Yeah,
even like on Clone Wars, that show, Obi-Wan's like the best part.
Mm-hmm. So, one thing I do want to say before we get this review started, I actually do have a scene that I like from Attack of the Clones. I know it's so weird because I hate the movie, but the scene between Slave One and the Jedi Starfighter in the asteroid field above Geonosis, that is an incredible scene.
That was cool. So even the way the movie starts out badass because it starts right, the rolling credits like how every Star Wars movie starts and will always start, and it's just like war, stuff's going down, and then as soon as the last thing scrolls up, it's just instant battle, stuff's flying, people are dying in the vacuum of space. It's rad.
Now, here's the thing. Have you noticed that every single Star Wars film has gone down on either a ship or a planet? Now,
yes.
The planets, that will be, Episode 1, it was a ship. Episode 2, it was a planet. Episode 3, it was a ship. Episode 4, it was a planet. Episode 5, it was a ship, and Episode 6, it was kind of a mixture with a ship and a planet.
Yeah.
Now, with Episode 3, it goes down to this above shot of this Republic warship, and all you're hearing from the music is just this boom, 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 boom from the percussion section. And then you see the Jedi Starfighters come through. And you think, oh, this is really cool. And then they go over the ship, and it's a full-on massacre. They have Republic ships against Federation ships. They have Arkwings versus Vulture droids. They are throwing everything out the window and just like, screw it, we're going for a full-on war here.
It's like
so good.
And this movie's gonna be messed up when in the first minute there's an on-screen death. Rest in peace, R4.
Oh, why did the buzz droids have to kill him? And in a comedic fashion, no less.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. R4 didn't have to go out like that, man. R4 was a champion. He walked with Obi-Wan in that scene and didn't do much, but he was red. And red's a good color.
He was red and he was awesome.
It's so okay, we got red versus blue going on. So okay, so everything's going just tits now. So they're flying and spinning and stuff, and their job is to infiltrate a droid Federation ship. I don't know if that's their actual plan, but they end up doing it anyway via. Doesn't Anakin or no? Okay, so I was gonna say one of them gets shot down, but no, I'm wrong. So they both just fly in there. They crash. They kill a bunch of droids, and then they're like, "Let's find Chancellor Palpatine." And then their first job is to get to the end of the hangar, destroying all the droids first. No, wait, sorry, I was thinking of the Revenge of the Sith game on the PS2. That's a good game.
Yes, it is.
You know what's weird? They advertise that as before you watch the movie, play the game, I think. And so I did that. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the game that doesn't go down like how it does in the movie, which I'll get to in a sec. But yeah, no, so one thing I love, not like so many one-liners,
Mm-hmm.
and the bromance is strong in this one, at least for the first 45 minutes.
Now, I will say another really good scene, and the part where you kind of see this movie set apart from everything else in the prequel trilogy. You have the encounter with Count Dooku. And they're fighting. Obi-Wan gets literally pummeled by this walkway that fell by Dooku using the Force. Anakin finds the he manages to get both lightsabers. The Dooku's in his. He's holding it just over his head. And he's like, I shouldn't do this. It's not right. And Palpatine's just like, do it. And he just completely rips off Dooku's head.
And you know, the interesting thing to me about this scene is before I really thought about it when I was younger, there's this interesting look of just, I mean, obviously Dooku's like nervous when Anakin's got the lightsabers to his head, but there's a part where he shoots Palpatine this look where he's like, do it, kill him, and Dooku's just like, what? Because Palpatine's the Emperor, so he has this look of just total like abandonment, and you just see all the hope drain from his eyes. And honestly, even if you don't take into all the screen time and development that they give him in the Clone Wars, it's still kind of sad and puts the Emperor in an even darker light, because I mean, he was willing to get rid of Darth Vader, you know, in episode 6. But in this one, this is different because Anakin actually, oh my God, I just realized the parallel.
And here's the thing. Another big parallel we can make.
Saw this movie 10 years ago, and I now just got that.
Uh-huh. Now here's the thing. You know how in Force Unleashed, you fight Shakti, and it says, poor boy, the Sith always betray one another? But I'm sure you'll find that out for yourself. One of the deleted scenes in Revenge of the Sith is the Obi-Wan and Anakin were following Shakti's symbol, and Grievous kills her on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes even more of a parallel, because you see a betrayal with Shakti on the ship, and then you see it again in Force Unleashed, because Shakti didn't die in the movie, so you got to see it in the game.
Yeah, and I remember seeing that scene's kind of weird because, I mean, they probably cut it from the final film, but there's no build-up that they had even captured Shakti. So it's like all of a sudden just round this corner, and then Grievous is there like, oh, hey, guys, by the way, Shakti. Then kills Shakti, and there's like, that was a bad mistake, you know, finishing each other's sentence. And I remember seeing a YouTuber, he's one of those he's one of those rare and completely original prequel haters that you never see anywhere on the internet. And he was saying how the scene has no build-up and it's stupid and it downplays Shaak Ti's death, one of the key members of the Jedi Knights. And I'm like, are you serious? Who cares about Shaak Ti? People care more about what's the Jedi's name and who in Order 66 he gets shot down with the alien face? That's Plo Koon, right?
In the ship? Yes,
Yeah.
that's Plo Koon.
People care more about Plo Koon than they do Shaak Ti. People care more about Ayla Secura or that one Jedi old dude with the cone-shaped head, Kid-Eye Mundi or something.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, man. So anyway, like I was saying, so I just realized that parallel, right, between episode 6 and 3, and my mind is just aghast right now with like, man, what ifs, what could have been, but no. So the three of them make it out of there, and I forget. Oh yeah, they eventually get captured because, of course, and they wind up in Grievous's thing. Now here's the thing: when I was a kid, I'd seen Attack of the Clones before this, but I could never remember General Grievous. So I'm like, wait, was he in Attack of the Clones and I just didn't hear about him or whatever? But so Grievous kind of comes out of nowhere, and as far as movies goes, and
but still, he's one of the greatest greatest villains that I saw
in Star Wars. Yeah, and like he's cool because he's cool because the dude's a total wimp, but the dude's also really cool. And in the PS2 game, there's a line when you fight him as Obi-Wan, and he's like, "You're not bad for a droid." And he goes, "I'm no droid." And that kind of got me thinking, they don't really explain what Grievous is. Maybe they do in a book or a comic or maybe even one of the shows. But Grievous is a droid, kind of. But as you see later, he's got a beating heart.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
he's
I don't really know.
Some sort of alien.
All I know is that Grievous holds the lightsabers of every Jedi that he's killed. Well, probably not all of them, but that's where he gets his weapons. So it's like that's kind of messed up. It's like, okay, so I'm gonna kill a Jedi, then I'm gonna use their weapon, the sacred sword that only a few can use and master. And oh, by the way, I've got 4 of them. I mean, he shows that later, but so he taunts and whatever, makes his escape because yeah, and then Obi-Wan and Anakin do one of the most implausible but really cool things in the entire series. After wasting the entire place of droids, they take this ship that's crashing at meteor Mach 1 or whatever speed level. Okay, not Mach 1, but super fast down onto Coruscant. And Palpatine's just like, "Oh my god, guys, what are we gonna do?" And they're just like, "Strap in. Seatbelts save chancellors." And I love this. They guide the ship into Coruscant, which looks great, especially on the Blu-ray remaster, which I think I said this last episode, but seriously, the Attack of the Clones and this movie look awesome with the touch-ups. And it's not like they don't like land it on like a big landing strip and it just skips. No, they're somehow able to land it. Well, I haven't seen the landing thing in a while, but they're basically able to land it, still standing upright, with honestly considerably small amount of damage. And why the Republic didn't just open fire when the Separatist flagship was coming into their airspace, I'm not too sure. But yeah.
And at this point, right after this, you have them coming down to the Jedi Temple, and they're talking and trying to figure out where did Grievous go to. And I love the little exchange that Obi-Wan and Anakin have, because you literally have it's like, "But you, Obi-Wan, now for saving your skin for the 10th time, 9th time, that business on Kader Namodia doesn't count." And now that we've seen Kader Namodia and Force Unleashed 2, I think he got in the arena with the Corellian Slice Hounds. Just saying.
Yeah. But I could tell you this. Revenge of the Sith kind of has that similar problem with Phantom Menace, where it's like Star Wars in general, anytime they're at Coruscant, I just get bored. This time it's a little more interesting because, Anakin's with Padme. And at least with Anakin and Padme being married in this movie, they don't have to take time building a relationship. This relationship's already established, and it's been a while since the second movie. So it's just Padme and Anakin being Padme and Anakin, which is better in terms of character development and writing to a degree. And, the actors don't seem like they're forcing it as much. But this is where it gets interesting, because Obi-Wan, at this point, Obi-Wan and Anakin split, and they're apart for the rest of the movie. And because I almost called him Obi-Wan. I was almost thinking, I couldn't tell if I was thinking of Omicron, the predecessor to Heavy Rain and Indigo Prophecy, or Oda Khan from Metal Gear. Which, by the way,
I thought you were combining the two.
Can I just say, MGS5 has a 10 right now, and Fallout 4 has a 9.5. Game of the year, son. Nanomachines, internet. Sorry, that's off topic. Anyway, just had to point that out. So they split for the rest of the movie, which is interesting in the sense that, anytime Anakin's left on his own, something always goes wrong, and Obi-Wan's got to go on this mission to this planet to track down Grievous and finish him off for good. Anakin isn't really given any orders. He just hangs back with Padme, and he has these nightmares about Padme dying, but he doesn't know why. And Palpatine. Actually, really quick, does Anakin ever go to Yoda at all? Or does he kind of just wind up straight?
Yes, he does go to Yoda.
Because I can't remember what advice, quote unquote, that Yoda gave him.
He's actually walking on eggshells when he talks to him, and he's just like, I'm fearful of losing someone, and I think the scene that they do, the blinds are partially set, so you only see like a little slit over Yoda's face, over Yoda's eyes, and he's just like, train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
I have a feeling, I have an opinion about people like Yoda that clearly know more than they're letting on and are super smart enough to help, and it's like, why don't they? I don't know. I think a few problems could have been fixed if Yoda just took a more direct hand into this, because Obi-Wan feels like he fails Anakin more than anybody. So, because here's the thing. The way they've written the Jedi, except for Yoda and Obi-Wan, they've made every Jedi basically a huge dick. And while Palpatine, he's evil.
Mm-hmm.
But he makes the most sense to Anakin. The Jedi, all they have ever told Obi-Wan and Anakin, from Obi-Wan's Padawan days to Anakin's, is be patient, believe in the Force, have control of yourself, conceal, don't feel, don't let them know, and you'll be fine.
Don't you dare.
Praise be to Yevon, and follow the buzzards, and you'll be fine. Which, let's be honest. Luke didn't sit around and wait. He went out and he went and, well, he didn't go to the Death Star, but he did that. He went to Cloud City to fight Vader. He went to Jabba's palace to save Solo, Leia, and the droids, and then he willingly went to Darth Vader to try and stop everything. So the fact that the Jedi are just basically snails with swords kind of pisses me off. Knights of the Old Republic made me believe they were majestic if you were a Jedi and not a Sith, but still.
Now, some of the things, too bad, just like this whole scene, Obi-Wan's gone off to find Grievous, and he gets on Utapau, and I just love the design of these aliens. Are really cool. He's just like, 10th level, thousands of battle droids. And it's just like, we're about to go. So, if you have warriors, get them now. And then you have Anakin, that he's actually tasked with spying on the Chancellor. And because now, finally, the Jedi are getting suspicious. After all this time, they're not just now finally getting a crap about Palpatine. And
Because the Jedi, who would think the Jedi would be smart? Oh wait, they were supposed to be.
yeah, pretty much.
So I know some people would hate George Lucas for writing it that way, but if the whole point of writing the Jedi like a bunch of pompous douches was to kind of justify Anakin turning evil at least a little bit, honestly, I'm okay with that. Because seriously, I'm not saying they deserve to die. I'm just saying these Jedi, they were supposed to have all the. Remember how when you were a kid and you'd go to your dad and he always seemed to have all the answers? They were supposed to be like that.
Yeah. Now, here's the other thing. When you get to the opera house scene, I know I've said this, and I know Nostalgia Critic has said that this is the best thing of the series, and I agree. And, I'm also going to make a bit of a parallel to Force Awakens, even though it isn't even out yet. With this seed, it's making the Star Wars mythos more of a mythos. It's talking about the history of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Then you have The Force Awakens, which it seems like it's trying to make it out to be a living legend that the Empire, the Jedi, all this went down. And now Han's coming back to say, no, it's not a legend. It was all real. So it's just really cool to see.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things in this movie, and I do like that. I mean, Anakin's eventual turn's obvious, but they do take their time with it because while Obi-Wan's away, which is cool in itself and in some of the better levels in the Revenge of the Sith game, he has to track down Grievous. The clone troopers are there to help. And and at some point, Yoda has to end up going to Kashyyyk because Episode 3 really liked threes. There were three different main plots with 3 awesome lightsaber battles with 3 almost hours of content, But so I think what happens first is Obi-Wan eventually comes into contact with Grievous, and he's like, "Sup, dog?" And he's like, hold on, let me try to do my Grievous voice. I got General Kenobi, I will enjoy adding your lightsaber to my collection. And that's the best I got. And by doing that, he sicks the droids on him. Obi-Wan decimates them because, seriously, Obi-Wan is a beast. Mm-hmm. And so Grievous is like, okay. He grabs 2 lightsabers. And he's like, check this out. And look, my mind was blown when I saw the double blade saber. But then I see old 4-arm Grievous here, and I'm just like, oh my god, Obi-Wan is so boned. How did he make it into Episode 4? And honestly,
and that scene. When he's coming at Kenobi.
And he's spinning the lightsabers.
Yes!
That's so cool.
Hear that. Just like, yes!
I swear, the sound effects from that whole 10 seconds sound like it should be in a dubstep song. Whoa, 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 General Kenobi! Whoa, 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 General Kenobi!
I should make a Vine of that now.
Oh my god, you need to... Well, you like techno music. That means you have Fruity Loops, right?
I do not, actually.
Damn. So, and honestly, and like I said, I played the game first, and do you end up at the same locations? But honestly, Grievous kind of goes down a little more slightly epic in the game because it's full on lightsaber fight. Okay, the fight in the movie is more epic, but I felt like he was bested. I feel like his forearm form was bested a little too easy because like 10 seconds in, he cuts off one arm, and then a little bit after, he cuts off the other one. Then the clone troopers show up, and then they have this really awesome chase through the area. And and this is where I really have always respected George Lucas because obviously him and his whole production team, but they had to come up with the layout of this whole place, and especially for that chasing these areas that would only be in like 10-second shots or more or less. And it's like, man, no wonder why Disney bought you. You guys are incredible.
Yeah,
and
ILM is
Speaking of spending a lot of money on stuff, did you hear about Activision?
No, I haven't.
They bought Candy Crush for $2 billion more than Disney spent on the entire Star Wars property.
Oh my gosh. What has our life come to?
Candy Crush versus Star Wars confirmed for Kingdom Hearts 7.
Seriously.
But I thought Star Wars was, when I think of Activision spending that much money on Candy Crush, I was seriously a little pissed because I'm like, I thought Star Wars would be worth a little more than that. Yeah. But anyway, so then they end up on this little helipad, and this is where I was just forever like, what the heck about Grievous's appearance? Because you see his eyes, he's got real eyes, but then at some point he opens up his armored chest plate, and there's a beating heart there. And as a kid, I was like, what? Because this was 10 years ago. Oh my God, that was 10 years ago. I'm so old.
Isn't that sad? We're on another cusp of a new trilogy. It was from 83, or I think, 83 to 99. And you had 77 to 83, then you had 99 to 05, and now we have 15 to whenever.
So, yeah, because I got a lot of plans. It's like I'm so jealous of of people like our parents because my dad keeps mentioning how I remember when that trilogy came out, and I remember when that trilogy came out, and now I'm gonna remember when this trilogy comes out, and I'm just like, shut up, Dad.
Yeah, I know.
I'm kind of worried though. It's a movie this year, then it's episode 8 next year, right?
I think they're doing
or is it main installment spin-off?
I think it's main installment spin-off, and they just switch off.
Okay, still a cool idea. So anyway, like I was saying, I don't know if this was an intentional reference or not, but you remember that quote that Han Solo said, where he talks about the Force. He's like, hokey religions are one thing, but nothing beats a good blaster at your side. Well, Obi-Wan kills General Grievous with a blaster by shooting him right in the heart.
Yep, and it's just so uncivilized, and just throws it.
And it's like, are you talking about the blaster, Grievous, or how you literally shot him through the heart? You're to blame. And it's not like he shot him in the heart and he died. No, he internally explodes and fire comes out of his eyes. And I'm like, oh my God, he is so dead. Grievous is so dead.
Now, going back to Anakin, he is with Palpatine. And they're circling around. Wow, really, dude?
What?
Well, they're circling around each other. And Palpatine's he's thrown all subtlety out the window. He's just like, join me, and together we will find a way to save Padme's life. And then he opens his lightsaber. You're the Sith Lord. Are you going to kill me? I would certainly like to. That's good. I can feel your anger. Gives you focus. Makes you stronger. I'm just like, oh my God. And knowing that Ian McKellen, or Ian McDermott, I can't believe I mixed up those two.
How could
Ian McDermott does such a fantastic job.
To be dragged into a Sarlacc pit. I can only do his voice if I just sink in my chin and my entire fat gets exposed.
Now, when Anakin goes to base, and not the sprayable mace, but Mace Windu. So he goes up to there, and he's just like, he goes to Mace Windu, and Kit Fisto and a couple other people come in there. It's like, in the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you're under arrest, Chancellor. I am the Senate. Not yet. And then he literally pulls out a lightsaber of his own. And he's like, it's treason then. And then that flip that he makes. And you hear that noise. It's like, oh. It's like, oh my gosh, this dude's nuts. I mean, I knew he was evil, but he's psycho too? I like this character. And he kills everyone else. Mace Windu is about to kill him. Anakin, and the scene preceding this, though, is so good. Because Anakin's at the Jedi Temple, was told to wait there. And then you see Padme at their house. And that music. Oh, that music just makes the whole thing just so good. And right at the end, you just see a single tear fall from Anakin's face. I'm like, good God. That is sad.
No. Oh, wait, wrong part.
Now, then you get where Anakin decides, no, I'm going to go save the Chancellor. Mace Windu is about to kill him. And he's just like, and Anakin's just like, he must stand trial. You can't senselessly kill someone. And I think he's kind of thinking back. And speaking of that, the first time he does it, when he first frees Palpatine on the ship, he's just like, I shouldn't have done that. It's not the Jedi way. It's only natural. He cut off your arm. You want a revenge. It wasn't the first time. Remember what you told me about your mother and the Sand People? And right off in the distance, you can hear a scream of a Sand person from that. But anyway, back to this scene.
Makes me wonder if Anakin has schizophrenia or not in some way.
Yeah, probably. Now, when you get to this part, he literally, Mace Windu doesn't care. He's about to perform something that the people in film school know as a slasher scene. He's about to cut off his head. And he just goes up and he literally cuts off Mace's arm. And then you see Palpatine use his Force lightning. And he literally shoots him out the window. Mace dies. And this scene right here, right before this too, you see Palpatine's face getting burned.
Yeah.
The form it was. This is the turning point. Did I feel that this scene was kind of ham-fisted? Yes.
No!
Do I feel that this scene felt kind of forced? Yes.
No!
But this scene, as soon as you hear Palpatine speak again, and you hear that synthesizer that they put with his voice, it's like a good. I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's creepy.
No!
And also, I love how this whole time Palpatine's like, yeah, I'll save Padme, no problem. And then as soon as Anakin turns, he's just like, we'll find a way to save Padme's life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know it. We're gonna work together on this. I bet Anakin's just like, oh, no, you did not just do that. And
Darth Maul just joined up.
yeah, pretty much.
Where are those Sith? Most Sith are just duped into it, or double crossed into it in some way. I guarantee. I've read his prequel. Darth Maul was literally just like a opening position. Yeah, yes, kill that guy. Okay, welcome my new apprentice.
Yeah,
I think Darth Maul might be the only apprentice where Sidious actually liked, because he never tried to betray him, I'm pretty sure he actually thought he'd be able to kill Anakin and Obi-Wan. Not Anakin, Qui-Gon.
mm-hmm. And now you have two of the most interesting scenes. You have the execution of Order 66 asked to kill all the Jedi, and they do most of it. Which, that whole thing, I'm just like, did they really have to do that? No. And then you also have where Anakin's going to the Jedi Temple and senselessly killing kids right here. He goes to kill the younglings and all the rest of the Jedi Temple. And in the game, too, you get to kill the librarian character. I'm just like, wow, really? And then he's tasked to go to Mustafar and
oh my God, Mustafar.
And kill Viceroy. And kill
one of the best maps in Battlefront 2.
Yes. Wipe out Viceroy Gunray.
Which was awesome because screw the Viceroy.
Uh-huh.
He
goes over there and senselessly kills them too.
Most big bads, I'm kind of like, maybe some of them didn't deserve to go out like that. No, screw the Viceroy, okay? One of my favorite shots is watching them get blown to hell in Phantom Menace when Anakin blows up the flagship.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, screw you guys. Hey, John, quick question. Rick Astley, right? He'll let you borrow any Pixar movie except one. He's never gonna give you Up.
I know. I saw that.
Damn it. So it's related. It's Disney. So yeah, the Mustafars are the Viceroy are dead. Jedi are dead. Which is one of the most epic moments in cinema I'll never forget as long as I live. Execute Order 66. So many people die, and then oh my God, the part where Anakin turns the blade on those kids, I was just like, oh my God, no. And it goes beyond that. One of the Jedi counselor dudes, a kid actually jumps in front of him and starts to deflect the bullets, and it just straight up shows the clone troopers gunning him down. I'm like, this is PG, right? Oh, it's PG-13. That's right. Still, seriously though, he'd get wasted in this film, and Anakin and Yoda are honestly not as shocked as I thought they would be. The clone troopers even try to come after Yoda, but Yoda is too OP, so he just decapitates them like it's nothing but a thing. And
Yeah.
okay, and there's so much going on for this last bit. Like, okay, so on one hand, right, you've got Yoda confronting Sidious, which, let's be honest, we all wanted to see who would win in a fight. And then on the other half, you've got Anakin, who this part is good if it was this part was well acted if it was a Shakespearean stage play, which makes sense considering this is a space opera. But when Anakin and Padme have that confrontation, and he's like, I did it all for you, and she's like, you're breaking my heart. Anakin's like, I think you mean neck.
Yeah, but it's like, and then you see that Anakin sees Obi-Wan on the landing platform. Padme didn't know that Obi-Wan stowed away, and he's just like, liar. I'm just like, gosh, you really did turn bad, didn't you? And the fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan has got to be one of the most well choreographed scenes in all of Star Wars. Just saying. Then you also have Palpatine and Yoda. And I'm just like, I mean, they're everywhere. They're in the courtroom area. And all this other areas, like, they're just throwing everything around.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah. And then you have
the soundtrack just never lets up. It's like, oh my God, I can't love you enough, John Williams.
And do you realize that when Palpatine and Yoda are fighting, it is literally from episode 5 when Darth Vader and Luke are fighting. I'm just like, yes.
I love Star Wars. Screw the internet. I like the prequel trilogy, most of it. And of course, Palpatine gets away because clearly Yoda's not going to kill him. So it ends in a draw like we knew it would. But god dang, it's epic. Obi-Wan and Anakin, though, this gets a special 10 minutes because this is one of the best fights in any movie. There's so much emotion and intensity, and it's like, and you'll notice, they're both trying to hurt each other, but Anakin for the most part is mostly on the offensive. Then there's a part where their lightsabers are just lost and they're just beating the crap out of each other, and Anakin tries to force feed Obi-Wan the sabers through his teeth, and it's just, Anakin never looked so cool.
Are you talking about the scene where they're in that little area
in the room?
He grabs Obi-Wan's throat and forces him down and is about to slice his throat off. And then they're just fighting all over. So what happened? Did that particular station in Mustafar self-destruct, or did the planet eventually combust on itself? How did that work? It was the station. The shields, the heat shields got turned off.
Okay, because I was always under the impression that the planet just imploded on itself or something.
I don't know.
Or maybe that's just Mustafar. But anyway, so they're fighting all over the place, and then you get that awesome line from the trailer, "This is the end for you, my master." But then all I'm going to say is this, okay? "It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!"
Now, right before this, 2 little things that I want to say. One is that I will say the only time this fight ever got over the top was when they're swinging on those freaking rope things and slashing each other as they get close to one another, I'm like, seriously? Are you flipping kidding me? And then the other part that is really good, it's like, I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you. I should have known the Jedi were plotting to take over. Anakin, Chancellor Palpatine is evil. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Well, then you are lost. And then we get to the high ground. He
and then, of course,
makes a force leap. Don't try it. He does anyway.
Because he had the high ground.
He literally cuts off the rest of Anakin. The only thing standing is his metallic robot arm. Everything else
now.
Yep. Even like, okay. Everything else is literally not just cut off, but is burned alive.
Yeah,
the lava touches his cloak, and he burns.
Oh, and it's not like pleasant either. I mean, no one being burned alive is pleasant. But like you see his hair burn away, his skin his eyes are getting like crazy red. I hate you. It's like,
yep.
Every Star Wars movie they always bill as this fun space adventure, but there's always something twisted and messed up that goes on. Specifically in this one and The Empire Strikes Back, that torture scene stuff with Han.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, those screams from Harrison Ford sounded so real.
I know, they sounded blood-curdling.
I don't even want to know what they were doing, honestly.
Now, I think... Now, this end part... Padme has Luke and Leia. That's another scene that's just like, are you serious?
Yes! Yes! Yeah. So they're born, and then Yoda's like, hey, you want to talk to Qui-Gon in the spirit world? And Obi-Wan's like, yeah, sure. We never see that, and I don't think they really touch on it again. It's just like, hey, guys, remember Qui-Gon?
Well, they did do an episode in Clone Wars where...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But
Clone Wars is awesome. Everyone should watch Clone Wars and then watch Rebels, because Rebels is even better. Not because, it takes place in the original trilogy era, so it's instantly better. No, it's better because it's awesomer. Times awesome equals God only knows.
Why did you just reference an anime there?
Because why not, Jonathan?
That's true.
So Padme like super dies, right? Of a broken heart.
Oh.
Do they have to say broken heart?
No. They were like,
no,
we don't know why.
No, that was so campy.
She lost the will to live.
Oh, that's right. She lost the... It reminds me of that one Robot Chicken thing where Seth MacFarlane plays that medical space ball from episode 4, and he's like, she's lost the will to live. What is your medical degree in poetry? He's like, you saw a bunch of hippies. No, he's like, what are we supposed to do? Pray on our knees? We don't have hippies. We don't have knees, hippies. And it's just like Dr. Ball, MD, and it's like, couldn't they just say she died from having her neck broke basically to the pain of giving birth to twins?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, you already had Darth Vader slaughtering children. Let's just keep backing up the realism with that. Just be like, yeah, her body literally caved in on itself. That actually sounds very unpleasant. I mean,
yep. Now,
what do you mean, yep?
I know you. You're just off on your own little world. But anyway, then you have
Dick.
Then Bail Organa takes Leia.
That's that dude's name.
And then you have Obi-Wan take Luke to to Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Yes.
And that very ending shot where they're looking up at the sun, I'm just like, this is definitely a way to usher in A New Hope. I like this.
It's like I look at that scene, I'm like, man, I'm going to look forward to seeing your dead carcasses there.
Mm-hmm.
Even that's pretty brutal. They got burned a lot. Oh, wait, you forgot that really awesome shot at the end where the Death Star is being built.
Yes!
And Darth Vader's just like, dun, 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 dun. It's like the end. It's like, the happy, like, da, 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 da. I get it. It's the setup for episode 4, but I'm like, no. There's the last half of this movie is way too dark and twisted for you to do that. It's like, okay, bunch of kids die, right? Anakin gets burned alive. Padme dies. These twins get born. The Empire virtually takes over. Yoda goes into hiding. And not to mention, Darth Vader just got told that the person that he did all these horrible atrocities for died because of him, and the whole time Sidious has got that giant grin on his face. So it's like, this is a really depressing movie.
Mm-hmm. Now,
honestly, I don't think it was really fair because in the trailers, they always showed that little bit of footage from Darth Vader, especially that stuff of him, crossing his arms. But it's like that's the very last shot in the movie. I'm like, is that really trailer material? I mean, we get, and it's like Darth Vader is even like, I mean, well, look at your lower third. Vader's like on promotional material for it, and it's like he shows up for literally not even 2 minutes.
Yeah.
There was a Burger King commercial where he was walking through a corridor on Mustafar and he opens the door and the King's standing there. And it's like, hey, King just holds up a fat Whopper and Vader's just like, see Star Wars Episode 3 in theaters. It's like, what?
Okay. Now, I think we should probably get to scoring this because it is getting kind of long-winded.
Okay, so what do we really think about this episode? Honestly, it's the best of the prequels, hands down. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, damn it was late. See, on the other thing we do that for score. Yeah, I'd say it's probably. I mean, it's weird because even though I like I always say Phantom Menace is my favorite of the prequels, but I don't know. As far as moments go, I really like Phantom Menace, but as far as the whole package goes, I like Revenge of the Sith a lot more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Because Phantom Menace, basically from the start of the movie to the end of Tatooine, I mean, I'm there. I'm just like, yeah, cool. For this movie, I mean, from the opening shot to the last shot of Darth Vader being all, strong arm, I was, this whole movie, I'm just like, yeah, this is cool. Darth Vader is so cool. Yeah. And, I like the whole movie. If I was going to rate it, I don't know. I guess I'd probably say a strong 8.
I was thinking the same thing. Is it as good as the original trilogy? No, not by a long shot.
I think it's kind of unfair to compare the prequel trilogy to the original anyway.
And I understand that. I'm just gonna say that, of course, we're gonna think the original trilogy is a lot better, but as this goes, as a movie that came out in 2005, it was really good.
Oh yeah, I thought
popcorn flick.
Yeah. I mean, I think I mentioned this, but someone said something to me once. If we were to look at the Star Wars movies and take away the fact of the weight that the name Star Wars brings, if we really look at these movies, they are kind of not generic, but they are they're sci-fi operas, and if that's the case, then if we're going, because when I think of Revenge of the Sith, like the dialogue, some moments, I get like this weird Shakespearean vibe from it.
Mm.
So it sees the prequel trilogy off. It ends the story of Anakin, Obi-Wan, and all those other guys, and it sets the stage. And I think that's actually kind of why I like it, because I think I like Revenge of the Sith for the same reason I like the BioShock Infinite, because Okay, to make a long story short, basically the events of Bioshock Infinite lead up to Bioshock, and the way it sets it up for the hero to come in and be the big hero. So when I think of the prequel trilogy, I'm like, man, all this bad stuff that Vader and the Emperor did is all gonna get set right by Luke. So to me, it's like, yeah, bring on the original trilogy. Go Rebels. It's weird logic, I know, but when I saw Revenge of the Sith as a kid, I remember thinking, oh, but it's okay because Luke's gonna make it better, which in my mind made me like Luke more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's weird, I know, but that's one reason I can defend Revenge of the Sith.
One of the other things I noticed about this prequel trilogy is that when you go back in the original trilogy, the symbol of the Galactic Empire is the same as the Republic symbol in the prequels. So you see that symbol a lot in the prequels, and you're just like, those are evil. That's evil. That's not the rebellion.
Yeah, that caught me off guard when I first watched it. Someone had to point that out to me, and when they did, I was just like, oh my god, that's actually really clever.
I know, it's kind of interesting.
I think that's one of the nice things about the prequel trilogies, because since George Lucas knew directly what it led into, he spread out these little bits of foreshadowing and call forwards and foreshadowing that a lot of them, it's like, oh, that's cool. Like when in a way, Qui-Gon Jinn dying to Mark Hamill. I'm not Mark Hamill, Darth Maul. Yeah, Luke travels back in time.
Becomes this horned red and black creature.
Kills Qui-Gon because...
with his man saber.
That is a great YouTube move. But no, I like Revenge of the Sith. It's everyone's favorite Star Wars movie will be Empire. Everyone's least favorite will be Attack of the Clones. It's just a fact. This movie and Phantom Menace are so better than Attack of the Clones is literally -5 stars. This movie is +3.5 on a bad day. I could pop this movie in right now and just be like, yeah, cheesy one-liners right here, man, just right here.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, next week we go into the original trilogy with Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. See you guys later.